Deadpool 3 is almost here, and I believe now is the perfect time to create a video exploring the first two movies, starting with the second one. If you're like me, you'll probably rewatch the first two movies before watching the third one. So, to ensure you don't miss any details or Easter eggs from Deadpool 2, I've made this video for you. Be sure to watch until the end because I guarantee that when you rewatch the movie, you will understand the movie like no one else. Right at the beginning of the film, the moment we see the toy that references Wolverine's death, the song, Out of Love, starts playing. That song is the same song that Ryan Reynolds sang in National Lampoon's Van Wilder. At first glance, if you had to guess what Wade's favorite color is, you'd say red, right? But it seems the answer is not that obvious, because as we can see in this scene, Wade loves to wear his Crocs, which are blue. But the problem isn't there. The problem is that just brief moments after this scene, when Colossus appears to rescue him, he was wearing his black boots. A small error that many probably didn't notice in the scene where Wade throws the cigarette into the air and ends up falling into the barrel next to his head is that the first barrel to explode was the one under his head and not the one into which the cigarette fell. The symbols on this Chinese sign mean Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds likes to use Deadpool to reference his idols. In this scene when he lifts the coffin, he made a reference to Jim Carrey's character Ace Ventura, saying, "Do not go in there."
Do not go in there. Woo!
The scene where he is leaving the flower factory recreated a scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Deadpool loves himself so much that if he could, he would marry the female version of him, Lady Deadpool. And he made sure to make that very clear in this scene. He loves Lady Deadpool so much. As he arrived home late, it's obvious that he had to have a good excuse to give his wife. Otherwise, we already know that things weren't going to go well for him. And as expected from Deadpool, he gave a very plausible excuse to justify his delay. He mentioned that he was fighting a guy with a cape, and that his mother name was also Martha. That's right. He saw Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice and was inspired by one of the scenes in the film. Can't believe that DC just saved a Marvel character. When Vanessa and Wade are thinking of names to give their future children, Vanessa mentions the name Kevin.
Kevin with a K. No, two-strip too.
This was a bit of a hint to Kevin Feige, Marvel's boss, since his name is Kevin and his films don't contain explicit violence. But they better watch out what they say about him now, cause, he is their boss now. In this scene, the woman is singing a melody that was practically 100% identical to the melody of the song that Anna sang to Elsa in Frozen. And the first to notice this resemblance was Ryan Reynolds, as it's written in the DVD comments that Ryan Reynolds was the one who noticed the similarity between the two songs. And here's a detail that shocked me a lot when I first noticed it. The woman singing in that scene is Barbara Streisand, who, in turn, is the adoptive mother of Josh Brolin, aka Cable, and Thanos. The opening credits of the film are based on 007. Does this seem familiar to you?
No?
This is a clear reference to Flashdance. In the X-Men mansion, Wade was complaining about the X-Men mansion always being empty and never having a famous X-Men present. Well, he was so distracted complaining that he didn't even notice they were right next to him. This same scene where they are at the X-Men school and we see some of the most well-known X-Men had already been filmed on the set of the film X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Come quietly, or there will be trouble.
You stole that from RoboCop.
Colossus must be a big fan of RoboCop. And Wade apparently already knew that he was a big fan of RoboCop because he had made a reference to him when he was being carried by Colossus in the first film. Or maybe he just watched the RoboCop movies after Wade made the reference. We will never know. But he is a big fan of him, that's for sure. The name of the orphanage is a reference to Dr. Nathaniel Essex. He is known for being one of the greatest geneticists in comics, and apparently Deadpool thinks he's the famous actor Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds should sue him. He already knew that the superhero landing wasn't practical, but he still had to try. In the first movie, he literally said the superhero landing is hard on the knees and completely impractical. But despite what he said, I think it was always a dream of his to do the superhero landing. The prison they were taken to was a reference to the prison icebox from the comics. Inside, Wade wondered if they had sorting hats to join a gang. No, Deadpool, that prison is not Hogwarts. These two are Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk. I bet Terminator fans are recognizing this scene. They almost look like twins.
Who are you? I'm Batman.
He probably grew up watching Michael Keaton Batman. He couldn't help but imitate his idol. And who knows, maybe one day there will be a crossover between them. Honestly, I never thought I'd see Brad Pitt in a Marvel movie, but I guess with Deadpool anything is possible. Maybe in the third one, Taylor Swift will also appear. In this scene, several comic book characters are introduced: Shatterstar, Bedlam, and Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist's tattoo with the number 116 is a reference to his only appearance in the comics, X-Force number 116. And by the way, the actor who plays Zeitgeist is the same actor who portrayed Pennywise in Hit. Funny that all the photographs were pinned with a knife, except Domino's, which coincidentally or not, she was the only survivor. 24601 is the prison where Wolverine is. This is a reference to the number of prisoners of Hugh Jackman in Les Miserables. At this moment, we can see Deadpool circling Cable's drawing. But when the camera angle changes, the circle is not there anymore. That also happened here. And here. It almost feels like it was made on purpose. After Weasel outlines his plans to Cable, he mentions the name Duggan. Duggan is the surname of one of the writers of several Deadpool comic stories. As Deadpool wanted to be original, he didn't want to call his team X-Men, so he remembered the name X-Force. Completely original, right? Not really. This name also belongs to a comic book team. I can't say if this scene was inspired by the Iron Man scene or not. After a disastrous landing, he got stuck on that billboard with the straps of his parachute. Or maybe not, because they keep appearing and disappearing. I don't know what to think anymore. Hillside is the name of the series where Ryan Reynolds made his debut as an actor. The name on the ice cream truck is a reference to Madeline Pryor, an antagonist of the X-Men. Of course, we couldn't miss an appearance by our beloved Stan Lee. RIP. This prisoner is David Leitch, the director of the movie itself. It seems like some directors also want a bit of fame. In this scene, Wade was saying that the artist who had the brilliant idea of writing a character whose power is luck could only be a comic book artist who doesn't know how to draw feet. Indeed, Domino and Deadpool co-creator is known for always avoiding to draw feet. In trying to irritate Cable, Deadpool mentions the name One-Eyed Willie. In the movie where Josh Brolin debuted, The Goonies, they were searching for the treasure of One-Eyed Willie. And he referenced the film again by wearing the same shirt as the kid. It seems he hasn't lost his knack for slicing bullets with his sword. After the truck is knocked over, as Deadpool is falling, Cable grabs his gun. But immediately after the fall, both of his guns are back with him again. You probably didn't know this, but the character Juggernaut is a blend of the film's director and Ryan Reynolds. They modeled the director's face, but Ryan Reynolds provided the voice and motion capture for Juggernaut. Just like Chewbacca and C-3PO. In trying to recruit Colossus to defeat Juggernaut, Deadpool was inspired by the film Say Anything to convince him. Alpha Flight is the name of a Canadian superhero team, similar to the X-Men. And guess who else is Canadian? Exactly. During his battle with Juggernaut, Deadpool said, "Hey big guy, the sun is getting really low." Does this phrase sound familiar to you?
Hey big guy. Sun's getting real low.
Yes, he was inspired by Natasha, but, this only works if you're Natasha Romanoff saying it. I guess he was just trying to balance things, since he referenced DC a lot in the movie. And, he can't make more references to DC than to Marvel. He literally works for Marvel. When Wade is about to die, the music playing is the same music used in the scene where Wolverine died.
It's a dream of mine to see my face reflected in your helmet as you...
His dream really happened in the comics. Are you recognizing this line? Yes, it's a complete ripoff of Mary Jane's line to Peter in Spider-Man 2. At least this time it worked. I bet that you will never watch this movie with the same eyes ever again. Not literally, but you get what I mean. Which details surprised you the most? And which ones you noticed the first time you watched the movie? I really want to know. Tell me in the comments, because I'll read them all. And by the way, if you want to help me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have the goal of reaching 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you want to be part of the growth of this channel, make sure you subscribe. If you love watching videos about Marvel and DC, this is the right channel for you. Every Wednesday, a new video comes out. So don't forget to turn on the notifications. Now, I hope to see you in this next video that is showing up to you right now. See you there.